Hey guys, and welcome back to Anything Goes with Sania and Leah. So we are on episode 4.
It's gone so quick, hasn't it?
It's flown. We can't believe it's been a month of podcasting. But yeah, we've had actually some really positive feedback, which is really nice, like messages and tags, which is amazing. So yeah, 4th episode today, which is mad, really. Can't believe it.
It's also just because I feel like we kind of just announced the podcast literally like last week.
Yeah, I
And
know.
it's crazy how quickly week goes. Like I remember literally it only being 2022 a couple of days ago, and we're almost at the end of February
I know.
2023. Like it actually scares me how quick time goes.
Yeah. Although, yeah, February's gone super quick, but January was a drag, wasn't it? I think it went so long. I think because it was dark as well, but it's nice now it's starting to get a bit
About,
lighter.
to be honest, I feel like I don't know, January's a distant memory. I live within months. Like my memory is shy. My memory is so bad that I can't even
Oh,
remember what I did yesterday. So
oh.
I think that's why I think time goes so quick, because I'm just like living
Yeah.
the days that I remember.
Oh God. What? How's it? I feel like I ask you this every week, and you're like, yeah, the same. How's prep?
It's okay. I'm joking. I'm I'm a bit like, I don't know. Like if I'm going to be completely like honest and like completely honest with my feelings, I'm again still not happy with my current rate of loss, and it's just a little bit infuriating. I've had a few stresses on the last week and my weight has gone up a little bit. But you know, when you're just like, but I'm doing everything right. Why is
Yeah.
it doing that? And I know I'm only 4 weeks in
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
may be a slow start, but it's
Yeah.
just very infuriating because obviously like Reese, my partner, is prepping as well, and his weight
Yeah.
is like,
It's like a boy thing, isn't it?
it's really annoying,
I
and
know it is.
I'm really happy for him and he looks fabulous, but I'm also like, why is my body not doing the same? Like
Yeah.
it's just infuriating. But I know that Tom, like, I'm ready to push. Like I don't feel like I'm currently dieting. The only part that I actually feel like I'm dieting in is when I'm doing the cardio,
Yeah.
because like that's the one of the only thing that's kind of difficult. I was hungry yesterday. It was rest day food. I was definitely feeling a little bit hungry towards the latter end of the day, but I still don't feel like I'm prepping. Like I just feel like
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit more active. So I've got to check in with Tom on Tuesday, well, tomorrow,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and to kind of see how things are going and see if we need to ramp things up. Because I'm currently checking in with him 2-3 times a week just to kind of see my weight and, you know, that kind of thing, and see what's going on. I'm going to see how that is, and I'll have a feeling, and I'm going to ask him to just go, right, we've got X amount of weeks. Come on,
Yeah.
let's just
Go for it.
we like push me harder. Like, please,
Yeah.
I want this weight.
Yeah.
Like
It
this,
is frustrating.
it's just like even you said, like I remember
Yeah.
because I saw you yesterday, like your weight had just went up and down,
Oh
up and
God, it was a mad one.
down. And it's so annoying because it's like, come on,
Yeah,
put
it's like, why aren't you working?
there. But
Respond.
this is it. The good thing is we've got time.
Yeah.
And the good thing is also no one knows my show dates. Only a
Yeah.
few
So you
less
can,
people know.
yeah.
So I'm still aiming towards them, and I know I'll compete with them. But it also
Yeah.
does leave that pressure because no one has an expectation of me and how I should be looking and
No,
what my
exactly.
weight should be like. That's exactly why I didn't tell anyone, because like so many people have their opinion on what you should be doing whilst you're prepping or dieting. It's like, well, now you don't know how many weeks out I am. You can't have an opinion on
Yeah, you can't judge it all.
this is it.
Yeah. I do think actually, just with what you said then, like, when I posted my on my story, I think I did a post on it last week at the end of my cut, and I was like, literally my weight changed the first week and then nothing happened. It just went up and down, up and down. And I had so many messages like, oh my God, how do you handle it? Like, how do you cope with your weight not going up and down? And I said I was like, I'm gonna do a YouTube video on it and talk about like how I like found it with weight not changing. And I had a few messages from people being like, oh, I'm excited to watch YouTube and see like how you deal with it and what your take on it is. So I think a lot of people actually struggle with that, especially female, like weight not really changing a lot.
Yeah. I also don't think it helps. Like, I also don't think it helps, you know, like with our hormones as well. Like,
Yeah.
to mention, I've had the stresses, but I'm also almost due on
Yeah.
Also, like, fuck's sake, like, this could be a week that I had lost weight or whatever, but now I'm on my period. Yeah, cool. I know, like, we're not naive. We know on our period we're gonna like gain some sort of weight or whatever, but seeing it on a scale is never always like difficult. Like, even if you know why, it's like you almost feel a bit like a failure. Like, you feel why is it? And then when you get stressed about why, then it makes things worse. So it's like, it's a hard balance.
It is.
Anyone and everyone goes through it. And I feel like even top athletes, people like us, and like people who are first timers, like, feel like it's a very normal feeling. And I feel like it's just because your goal is weight loss.
Yeah.
So if you're not achieving the goal, it's like, well, what? Literally, I feel and look, and I can feel my arms. They've lost weight. My face has lost weight. I'm like 4 pounds down in the last 4 weeks. Just fuck all. That's like 2 kilos. It's nothing.
Yeah. But like you said, it's like when you look at it logically, you look at your photos, you go how you feel, like, you know, you're doing everything. So, you know, logically it's happening, but it's just, I think, really hard when it's you and you're like, the scale weight isn't moving. It is just frustrating, even though, you know, logically, like, everything is probably fine and you know, you're actually making progress.
I tell all my clients the same thing, and I'm like, I need to take my own advice, but it's just hard when it's you, isn't it? Like, you can hear one of your clients say it, and you're like, yeah, but don't worry, like, it's gonna happen, like, blah blah blah. And I'm like, if someone told me that advice, I'd be like, shut the fuck up. I give that advice. I know what I'm meant to be thinking, but I'm not. All right.
I literally know what you mean. It's so annoying, isn't it?
You're like, I'm not trying. Like, I'm here trying to practice what I preach, but clearly I can't do it. All right. Clearly I'm struggling.
It is hard. I literally say to my clients all the time, like, obviously I'm logical with them, but when it's yourself, like, you can tell yourself as much as you like, but it still is annoying, no matter how much you know, or like how much you like try and reason with yourself.
It's just how your mind works, and you've just got to this is why I'm so happy that I've got Tom, and I can never prep myself, because I probably would have been on like 900 calories by now. And I'm probably doing like 2 hours worth of cardio. So, like, it's just telling him how I feel, like, just telling him exactly how I feel and where I feel like I should be. And then his kind of approach and his response will kind of go, okay, if he thinks that this is enough, then this is enough. I need to just chill. But at the same time, in my head, and a question, is he just telling me that because he wants me to not stress out, or is he generally stressed for me? Do you know what I mean? Like,
but I feel like if he actually wanted you to be in a better place, not better place, but, you know, further along, he's going to change things anyway. So either way, like, it will be okay.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Like, this is true and honest, the process. Once I get on that weight loss kind of rate, I know, like, just takes a while. Like, this happened. I said this in the last podcast. It's just right. Get me over this fucking speed bump so I can lose some fucking weight, please.
I feel like that happens with a lot of girls, though. It's like fat loss, you kind of do what you need to do, and it takes ages to actually start like snowballing. And I think what a lot of people do is they maybe do a week or two and they're like, oh, I'm not making progress, like, this isn't working, and they either stop or like push stupidly hard, so it's not sustainable. Whereas actually you just need to get a good, like, sometimes it can take 6-7 weeks, can't it, with like females, just to like get that deficit and like get the ball rolling with things.
This is it. It's just figuring it out as well. And like, let's just say, like, my off season was by far the least optimal. Like, I'm not the most optimal bodybuilder. Like, I'll go out and eat food. I'll go out, you know, on a macro-based diet, and I'll drink, and I'll like be a regular 22-year-old. Obviously, I have structure, and most of the days I will eat my normal foods, but like, I'm not like the most optimal, and because I haven't been the most optimal, like everyone says on social media, like, you have to be, like, that's what also gets me worried, because I'm like, well, maybe it's because I didn't have like the best off season I could have possibly had that's doing this. It's just it's just your head. My mind goes here, there, and everywhere. And like, obviously, after I thought about that, I was like, Snar, come the fuck on, like, shut up. Like, what? Okay, you're now going too far gone. But it's like, it is our process in your head, isn't it?
You just like question everything you've done, don't you?
This is it. But we're checking in tomorrow. We're doing everything that I can, and that's all I can do. And so another week. I did actually lose weight. I have lost weight. I'm not saying I've been stagnant, but like, it's not it's gone down like you, and then it's gone
Yeah.
up, because I think this week's just been a bit meh anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll see what I think in the next 2-3 weeks is when I'll go, right, feeling shit. Yes.
Yeah, and you start at least you've got, I always think the first like month of prep is the hardest, because it's like you're transitioning from like not being hungry, eating loads of food, to then suddenly having to like get up and do cardio, like be obviously very, very strict, like be a bit hungry. I feel like not a lot changes. I feel like that's like the hard bit, but then once you start getting lean, it like kind of pushes you forward, doesn't it, and gets a bit more exciting.
You can see the changes, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you can feel the changes. So you're like, right, this must be what prep is like. This is prep. Right. It sounds so fucking silly, but this is it. Like,
No, I completely get what you mean. No, I think that I always think the first bit of prep is like mentally the hardest bit, like the first month or two.
Well, here's to another 4 weeks. So
yeah, we'll see where things are in 4 weeks.
how's things with you anyway? Like, are you, well, actually, what day is it? You've stopped now.
I'm done with mini cut.
Friday. I saw
Oh God.
I was like, I was thinking in my head, for some reason, like when I saw you went away this weekend, where did you go? London?
Yeah, I went to London on Saturday. It was actually really good.
What did you go and watch?
We went to watch Moulin Rouge in oh, honestly, it was literally incredible. So it's basically like, I didn't actually realise, but it's got loads of like really modern music in it. And it's like, the music is incredible because it's like multiple songs that are like blended together. And honestly, it's so good. Like, I really recommend it.
Was it like it was live, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like West End show. Yeah.
That's so cool. I really want to go. I've watched Dirty Dancing live when they went on tour.
Oh, amazing.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I love things like, I know pantomime's completely different to West End,
Yeah.
but I love things like that because
me too.
Great kind of experience.
Yeah, I love like trips to London. So we actually got the train, and we found out if you get the train from like half an hour down the road from us, we got a return train to London for like 35 quid each.
Yeah, it's
so we just went for the day. It's like an hour and a half on the train. So we just went there, went out for lunch, had some like Greek food, which was really nice.
I was gonna say, I was like, in my head, I was like, I swear
Yeah.
she's dieting. How the hell is she fitting this into her macros? And then I was like, she's not dieting anymore. Like,
done. So to be fair, I literally had like, I think it was like 3 potatoes, a lamb kebab and pita bread and salad. So it wasn't anything like mad.
It can be quite good though, isn't it? It's like like a McDonald's.
No, so I just had that. And to be fair, I did actually take my meal prep with me because I thought, you know, normal people, quote unquote, they like have the breakfast, go out for lunch, and then have the dinner. Whereas I'm like, I'm not going to last on breakfast till like 2 o'clock without eating anything. Yeah. So I did actually take 2 of my meals. So I had a meal on the train on the way there and a meal on the way back. But I actually did a post about this, I think it was yesterday, just saying like, you can still, I think people think either, you know, you don't do bodybuilding at all and you don't care about it at all, or you're like OCD, like every tiny 0.001% thing has to be on point. But you know, you can still be a really good bodybuilder and make really good progress and be really committed to it and still like live your life as well.
This is it. And I think this is where me and you both fall into that category, because Reese is an OCD point to point to point. He does every now and then, you know, have an off-plan meal, of course. But he is very much like your standard, you know, this needs to be this way, this way, nothing changes, don't care, this is how it is, kind of thing. With me, obviously in a prep, very different. I'm very OCD and everything.
Yes.
But like in an off season, he stays like that. And I'm very much like a balanced kind of athlete. I said I wasn't the most optimal, because if a friend of me says, let's go to a rave, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm coming. I'm doing 20,000 steps and, you know, eating food that evening. Or if my family like, we're going for a family meal, I'm like, sound, I'm coming. Like, I'm not going to bring I'm obviously like, if I'm, let's say, in a diet phase or like I'm in a reversal phase, I'll probably be more, I'll still go out. But I will just be more kind of like vigilant of my choices, just like you were with, you know, like your food choices. And even though you're eating out, it doesn't mean like you can't, it doesn't mean you have to be fucking crazy.
Like, exactly.
Be silly. Like, you don't have to go to a KFC and order a fucking 20 mighty bucket and eat all of it and scran it. Like, you can go and get a burrito. You like most food places. So for example, for Mother's Day, I'm going out with my mum. We're going bowling, and my brother and my mum want to go out for food, but they obviously know, they understand my my process. They're like, we won't go. And I'm like, absolutely not. I was like, I'm coming with you. It's absolutely fine. I'll just bring my food, that
literally,
like the rice and the chicken. And I was, I'll just say I have an allergy, but I will buy a drink. I will get them to boil me green beans because I have an allergy. I will still be a part of my family, and I'm not going to segregate myself because of a prep. I will work around it, and I will still do certain things. Like it's finding, like, obviously if you're not strong-willed and you can't watch other people eat, then obviously don't do it. But like even in a diet phase, off-season phase, like prep's different, but I am a very balanced kind of individual, where, and so are you, where it's like
you're the same as me. That's what I'm like.
I'm not gonna say no. Like fucking hell, like what life would you live if you just constantly say no because you've got a deadlift day tomorrow? Fuck's sake.
Exactly. And I think a prep is different. Like I am, you're the same. Like nothing is missed in a prep. Like everything is on my plan, 100%. Every cardio, every step's done. Like nothing is off point. But I do think in an off season, like you can be a bit more flexible. And like even me, I ate out. I had something sensible. I didn't have a dessert. I had like Coke Zero as a drink. I had I had 2 gin and slimline tonics, right? So again, like sensible drink.
That's the least calorific drink, isn't it? Gin.
Yes, literally, like I think the gin and slimline is like 95 calories or something like that. So I had 2 of those.
It's like low salt ketchup. Apparently, like if you have 20 grams of like low salt ketchup or whatever, like that's still like 100 calories apparently. Like still.
Oh God, I literally smashed that. There we go. That's why I didn't lose weight on my mini car. Fucking hell. But yeah, like I still ate out, and I just had I have 5 meals on a rest day. It was a rest day. Obviously got all my steps in because I was in London. I had my breakfast before I went, took 2 meals with me in a cool bag, literally just carried it around London with me, no stress, had a meal out, and then had my last meal when I got back. So I didn't miss any of my meals, had 1 meal out, and I was out from literally, we left about 8 in the morning, we left mine, and we got back about 9 at night. So I was out for like over 12 hours, and it was fine. So it is doable. It's just priority. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not perfect, but I'm generally like, I do hit everything.
This is it. Like I'm like a 92% athlete, 8% a 22-year-old who will still life. Like even though I say like I'll go out for food, like you won't see me going out raving every weekend. Going out doing like silly, extravagant 22-year-old things. Like I'm not a 22-year-old going out every weekend. There are like a balance to it, and 92% of the time I'm eating my meals, I'm in bed by 9, like I'm doing this that I need to. But then like certain occasions arise, or like my friends want to come see me or whatever, then I'm not going to say no, because I feel like on social media, like if you're not the most optimal bodybuilder, then you're never going to be a good bodybuilder. And I understand that there is optimizations to obviously kind of rinse everything to be as good as you can, but for me it's not worth it, and that's why I live more of a balanced life. For me, I will be as good as I can with the balance of still living my life.
You're literally exactly the same as me. Like I literally am exactly the same. It's like I'm going to be as good as I can be doing this approach, and I'm not willing to sacrifice absolutely everything. Like some people are like that, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I really respect that. Some people are like, I'm literally not letting like one tiny thing go. I'm going to literally optimize absolutely everything because that's what I want to do, and that makes me happy, and that's absolutely fine. But like for me, I knew if I say no to absolutely everything and don't do certain things because I'm trying to optimize my like progress, I just wouldn't be happy.
And you'll look back on your life when you're 50, 60, and you'll go, I was young then. I wish
that's my worst nightmare.
That's my worst nightmare as well. And this is why, like, I'm not talking about my retirement yet, but I definitely think as soon as me and Reese want to start a family, hoping near enough kind of 30, as soon as we decide that we want to start a family, bodybuilding, bye-bye, you're gone, see you later. Like I'm done. Like I will happily affect my life, but I will not affect my babies' lives or my family life or my health because of bodybuilding. Like, I love it so much, but there's just lines that I won't cross.
Yeah. This is what me and Will have this conversation quite a lot, because obviously he's 30 next year, right? And I'm, well, pretty much 27 nearly now. And we always joke around, like he's like he put a picture on his Instagram so this morning, actually. I can't remember what he said. It's quite funny because he works in London, so he was working in London today, and he obviously preps all his food to kind of take it. And he put a picture on of his food. He was like all his food that he was taking for the day of work, and he was like, can't wait to quit bodybuilding so I don't have to like take food to feed take a picnic to feed 12 away with me for the day. And he always jokes that, like, oh, I can't wait to like stop bodybuilding. Not that I can't wait, but he's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to stop bodybuilding so I like can just eat like a normal person and not have to take like 1,000,000 calories out with me, basically. Yeah, so but it is, I feel like there's so much I wanted, and I love bodybuilding. I think I will always do like bodybuilding in some, even when I don't compete, I will still bodybuild. Like I will still go through the process of like building muscle, mini cutting for shoots or holidays or whatever. I don't think I'll ever stop doing that. But I'm excited to kind of like, I still want to go on holidays. There's so many places I want to visit, and I'm like, God, like I haven't got that long really before I need to like think about, do I want to have kids or settle down? And I'm like, God, there's so much I want to do and see before I even get to that point. And obviously we've got the house now and we're like settled and, you know, that's all sorted. But then I'm like, God, like I've probably only got but maybe 5 years or so. And I'm like, well, that's loads of time. And I'm like, yeah, but like 1 or 2 holidays a year, like that's not that many places you can visit.
Yeah. I think like there is a stigma though on like women having to have kids at 30s, like early 30s. For me, I want to be a youngish, not young mum, a youngish kind of mum where I'm like 30ish years old, purely based off the fact because by the time I'm 60, I do not want to have an 18-year-old in my fucking house. By the time I'm 60 or like 55, I want to be able to be with Reese and to live on our own and live our mid-50s however the fuck we want.
Yeah.
I do not want to be 60, 65, 70, having a kid at like 40.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Kid then, because I would rather work my ass off when I'm younger and then relax when I'm older.
Yeah.
That's
I get you.
And it's like, I want to have kids, but I don't want them to be annoying the fuck out of me by the time I'm 60. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, because my logic behind it is I don't want to like compete and bodybuild and then be like stop and have kids straight away.
Yeah.
It's like I want time where I can like, you know, I'll still I think I'm always gonna do bodybuilding as such. But competing, I want like a bit of a gap where I can kind of, you know, travel more.
Sort of norm life, because if you go from like bodybuilding to then a baby, fuck me, I can't even imagine the mental kind of stress that would have on you, because everything then goes out the window. You've had no transition period. Like, I completely agree with you. Like, I feel like I'll never know when I'll ever like kind of stop competing, and that's when I mean I'll stop bodybuilding, because I'll always be into fitness and like always do like cuts and whatever, like, but I definitely think like I'm in the agreement with you. Like, it really does just depend on, right, am I happy with where I left it? Do I want more? Is it worth having more? Should I do I have time to do more? There's so many factors, but the good thing is I'm not pressuring myself to go onto the Olympia stage as a bikini athlete. So it's not like where I'm like, right, within 3 years I need to do this and I need to push this and I need to do, like, I'm just here for the ride and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, that's literally what I think. And do you get asked all the time, oh, when are you going to compete? Or like how many more seasons are you going to do? And I literally always say to people, I'm just going to keep going until I don't like it anymore. And then, or I'm not getting what I want out of it. And then I'm going to not do it anymore. I'm like, there's no plan. There's no thing of I must get to this point. I'm just like, you know what? I love it. I give it my best shot. You know, I do the best I can. I'm just going to keep going, see what I can do. Obviously, I love winning, right? I want to win. Everyone wants to win. I think if someone says I don't want to win, I'm like, debatable.
Liar. Come on, just admit it. Like, we all want to win. Like, no one wants to lose. Like, God forbid the day that I actually lose, because you'll see it all over my face and I'll try so hard not to.
It's literally what I'm like. Will's always like, you've never lost. I'm like, I know.
I know, and I do not want to lose because I do not know how it feels like. So I do not know how it sounds so fucking cocky, but I don't know how to. Like, I don't know how to. I don't know how my face will be. I will just be like this, and it'll be the fakest smile. Like, oh yeah, I'm really happy with this. Thank you.
Oh God, but yeah, I'm just gonna keep going until I think, right, okay, yeah, you know what, I've had a bit of fun. I'm happy.
This is it. Like it's just completely dependent on where I am at the time. Like something may happen tomorrow where it's like I can't do this anymore. Like something's happened in my life where it's like it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I can't live this life. Something could happen tomorrow. Something could happen in 2. Something could happen in 5 years. You never know. And this is why, like, when people ask me like futuristic questions, I'm like, girl, I don't know what I'm doing in 3 days.
I'm just living my life.
Life. And I'm just kind of going with the flow, and I don't apply to like there are certainly goals that I have, like depending on which category that I go in and how far I do want to take this. I would love to get a pro card. Like, of course, I want to get a pro card. If I stick with bikini, do I think that there is a potential for it? I generally think that if I stick with it, I do. That is something that I could achieve. It's probably more realistic than wellness because I definitely need a lot more time.
And also, you're so young still.
This is it.
Like, you've got so many years to carry on, like growing and like growing into, you know what I mean? Like you've got. I always forget. I'm quite a lot older than you.
Yeah, but you're not really that much older than me. You're literally, like, I swear, like 4 or 5 years, which is not a lot.
That's so much, doesn't it?
It's not a lot. It's just because
I still think I'm like 18, but I'm not 18. I feel like I am.
That's good though. But like, I definitely still think like a pro card like that's definitely still like in my eyesight. But it's not like where I'm going on a pro card hunt. Like, I'll do anything that I can.
Yeah, that's literally the same as me.
Like, that's it. Like, I'll do what I'm willing to do, and if that's good enough to be a pro, then it's good enough to be a pro, and then we'll soon see, right, how will I actually hold up between these pro ranks. And then if, like you said, if it's you're just not cut out for it, because apparently it's really, really different, and I'm not willing to do certain things, then cool, bye-bye. See you later.
Yeah, I think that's such a positive approach though to have. I think like just going in with the mindset of like wanting to enjoy it and have fun and kind of see what your potential is and like giving it your best shot, whatever that looks like to you. I think that's such a positive approach to have. Because I think it would stress me out so much if I was like, I must get a pro card. And that was like me with PCA. And then I never was like, yes, must have a pro card.
Well, I mean, you are a pro within the PCA Federation.
Yeah, but I never like set out with that goal. Obviously, when I started getting into competing, and I was like, oh, actually, that would be really cool.
I'd like that, yeah.
Yeah, but I was never like, oh my God, must get a pro card.
This is it. It's like, I think you are very same in that. Like, it's like there's so many kind of avenues that you can take with bodybuilding, but it must be respected in certain situations, and like just don't fall into what I see on Instagram every single time I literally click on it. Must be optimal. Do you optimize your sessions? Do you optimize your meal timings? Oh my God.
I can't watch it. I'm like off.
Honestly, like there's so many like.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
See, if I wanted to live a life like you, I'd be coached like you. I'd be coached by you or whatever. Why is social media like pressurizing optimization? And like I understand it, but fuck me, like just go to the gym, train hard, eat relatively well, sleep well, enjoy it. Don't go into it. Seeing someone on social media do it because you love what you're doing. Train healthy. Don't be a fucking pussy about it. Eat properly. Don't be a bit of a twat about it. This is the one thing that I would say is just fucking lift heavy and enjoy what you do before you even place the pressure of getting on stage, because too many people think stage, a month into training because of everything on social media. Love training before you eat. Have fun with it.
Yeah, like, I feel like we're both on such the same page.
Cool. Enjoy it. Like this, the form thing as well. Oh my God. So many people get like literally ransacked for it. It's like, fucking hell, just let them have fun. Like, as long as they know if they need to get better, or like, I understand form needs to be relatively decent. Like, sometimes just pick up a weight and lift it. Do you know what I mean? Don't think about, right, my hips must be here, blah, 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 blah. Like, learn it, but then also have fun with it, because lifting heavy
Yeah.
aids muscle growth, not being a fucking pussy about it and thinking, oh, my background did that one little inch, I must stop.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. It's like you need to be enjoying like what you're doing at the end of the day, don't you? Well, we did have a topic, but I feel like we've like just not gone on the topic at all and just chatted away for like I don't know how long.
No, but I feel like okay, so I feel like we should talk about it a little bit.
Okay, we'll do a little touch point.
Even if we do like a little kind of advice kind of thing. Because what time is it? Okay, yes, we'll do 10 minutes on the actual topic we wanted to speak about.
Great success. Oh well, it's been useful, hopefully.
So basically we wanted to actually, you explained it a little bit better, because you obviously had a lot more clients kind of coming up to you wanting to have a little bit of advice on this.
Yeah, just around kind of body image in like transitioning through different phases, because I think with bodybuilding it's very changeable. Like you place so much emphasis on your physique and you're always changing, right? So you're either losing weight or gaining weight, or there's never a time where it's like really comfortable, because you're never just ticking along, you're always pushing to one extreme. And I get a lot of girls, either clients or like through Instagram, just saying, how do you deal with those? Like, how do you deal with such big changes in your body image? So like, how do you deal with gaining weight, either, after show, in an off season, moving away from dieting? Like, how do you deal with it? Because mentally it's quite a tough thing, right? Seeing yourself go from being lean, or even not starting being really lean, even just starting with a coach and maybe going into an off season. How do you deal with actually seeing the numbers come up? Like, not really, because you don't really see a great deal of progress, do you, when you're in an off season? Like, I've had clients go into an off season for the first time and look at the photos after 2 weeks and be like, oh, I feel like I'm not making any progress. And I'm like, I have to kind of talk through the process and how it actually works. And I think it's like a mental battle sometimes.
It's hard
Getting your head around.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like, it has to be one of the hardest things about, I feel like, just body image, bodybuilding or not, like, it's hard enough as it is. And then we put ourselves in these phases, like you said, and we have to shift our mindset, and we have certain goals, and like, it's hard. Like, prep, off season, post show or shoot, it is so hard. Like, the hardest time that I've had with bodybuilding is post show appearance. I am quite a confident person. I love my body in an off season. I love my body in a prep. Post show, I couldn't, really struggled with handling the transition from off season to prep, easy. Going into an off season, fine.
Yeah.
I'll explain my process on how I deal with that kind of change, but the being lean to then gaining weight again, wow, that was like something I have never experienced in my life. Did you find it really tough as well?
I think the more that I do the preps, it gets easier. Like this time, I don't think I really struggled at all. But definitely after the British, like in 2021, and definitely in my first show, like after my first show, 3 weeks after my show, I didn't even look like I competed.
Yeah, no, that was the same as
all.
me. Yeah. But I remember after my finals, I rang Reese. Was it finals? Or I don't know which one it was. And I literally just, I don't like using the word binge, but I ate a lot of food. Like, I did just anything in sight, because we bought loads of food for post show, which I do not recommend doing.
Yeah.
Because you will eat all of it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
all of it within an hour. I called him and he was like, what the fuck? Because my face held so much water. And then I remember taking photos literally one day after my show, just so Tom could see kind of what damage I created. And I looked at the photos and I was like, everything's unraveled, everything's gone.
Yeah.
And I just struggled for weeks and weeks and weeks. Yeah. The best thing that advice I could give to someone who's going from being really, really lean to kind of gaining weight is the mindset shift of, okay, understanding that it will take a couple of weeks for you to, even a couple of months, for you to stop thinking, I need to get leaner, I need to get leaner, I need to get leaner. was shifting my mindset within my training. So my training got really, really shit, and I really wasn't that strong. But because I was seeing the numbers progress up as I was getting, bigger and stronger and have more energy available because I'm eating, I was like chasing those numbers. I was like, right, this food means that I can pull this weight. And that is what keeps me through the off season. And because I'm like, that's my goal now. My goal is to gain more muscle and to grow. I don't need the lines, but the transitional period is very, very, very hard.
Yeah. And I also think the first time you do it is by far the hardest. And I don't think whatever anyone says is going to set you up to how you feel after your first prep. But 100% what you said, because I did this the first time I prepped, worst thing you can do not keep food in the house, because if what I did this time, which worked so much better, stick to your normal meals. I ate literally very, very similarly, like reverse as I did on prep, and I just increased the quantities. If I wanted to have a dessert or I wanted to have a meal out, something different, I would just go for a meal and have a dessert at a meal because it's portion controlled. Yeah. Whereas if you've got cookies and chocolate and everything in the cupboard, you're not got endless willpower, especially after you've just prepped for 24 weeks, whatever it is. Like, just don't put yourself in that position, because it will not end well. So, even if someone is the most disciplined person in the world, after that amount of time prepping, when you're hungry, because you are going to be hungry still post show, it takes months, I think, for your hunger to settle down. Like, just don't put the food in the house. Just don't do it to yourself.
You know what? Like, yeah, because you look at it and you go, well, I need to eat it anyway. Like, it needs to go. Like, that will go through your head. Like, it needs to go. You just eat it. Like, that was the worst thing I could have done. Like, the worst thing I could have done was buy 12 brownies that I ate to myself, pretty much. The worst thing I could have done was buy a whole box of celebrations and have a post-show treat straw. Oh my God, come within days.
Yeah.
Days. And there was so much food there. This time, I am not going to buy any post-show treats. I may bring like a protein bar or two post-show, because it takes that sweet tooth, but also it will, obviously you don't eat really that day, so it will just kind of, keep me ticking along until like post-show food, like actually going out, like you said. But in terms of like transitioning into an off season, like, I promise you, nothing I say will help you. The only thing I can say is try to transfer your goals into something else. Don't try and stay lean.
Yes.
Maybe refrain from taking too many photos or like viewing yourself too much, because you will be overcritical and overanalyze and your brain will spiral, or like, and also, oh my God, this is what I got into, and I was so lucky. I was like honest with my coach. I would not stick to plan, and I would eat off plan. I'd get food or a takeaway or whatever, and then I'd restrict the next day and do cardio. And then I would eat so little food that I'm absolutely starving that I'd eat off plan again, and then I would restrict again. And I did that for a week. I think it was like 3 weeks after my show, because I was like, after 3 weeks, I was like, right, 2 weeks, I've got to go on plan. And Tom increased my food a lot, but it still wasn't enough. No amount of food is ever enough. And I literally did it for like 5 days, and I was like, fuck me, Sania, like, this is actually going to turn into some sort of eating disorder that you do not want. Like, do not let this take over you. And being honest with your coach is the best thing. Because as soon as I told him, he completely just said, look, what have you done today? Cool. Doesn't matter. Do not restrict. Do not do cardio. Try and eat on plan. I'm increasing your food to help with satiety. Volumize your food. Try and just eat within the plan. Here's a few 100 calories that you have free for yourself. So maybe you have a chocolate bar, or something, just to get satiety controlled. But he was like, every day you need to check in with me and tell me what you've eaten, and I will tell you how to approach the next day. That really helped me.
I think
they'll do that.
I think having 3 calories, that's actually what I've done this time, and what Dan's done essentially for me is all my meals are actually the same as what I was on in my mini cut. It's just added in 3 calories. So now I've got the same meals, but I can add, like this morning, for example, have oats, whey and berries. I added 10 grams of peanut butter on. because out of my 3 calories. It's 353 calories, right? So it's quite, on a rest day, so it's quite a lot. So I'm like, I'm going to have an extra like bit of peanut butter on my breakfast. I'm going to add another Warburton thing to my lunch, which I already have. I'm going to have an extra 100 grams of potatoes with my evening meal. So it's just like, stick with your fundamentals, add to your fundamentals, don't go away from your fundamentals. And something I always say to the girls as well, which I think really helps, is appreciate the phase that you're in, because it's so easily done when you're dieting. You're like, oh my God, can't wait to go out with my family and friends. Can't wait to like not be hungry and be able to train really well. And you're like really buzzing for it. And then you get to, you're like, you're off season or you're building, when you're doing all these things and you're like, oh my God, can't wait to be lean again. Yay. And it's like you're always like waiting for the next phase, and you just end up never appreciating where you're actually at. So I think it's really important just to be like, appreciate the phase you're in, enjoy it, rather than always like waiting for the next phase, because otherwise you're just waiting to be happy all the time, basically.
Yeah, like embrace it and just really understand what the goal is for each phase, and understand that each transition will be difficult and it's going to take time to get used to. Like, I'm struggling going into a prep phase from an off season. Like, that's still a struggle. But like, in terms of confidence, just find things that work for you, and it's just going to take time. Time is your best friend. People around you are your best friends, but also listen to the right people, because there'll be so many people in your ear. But just understand the goal of each phase, and soon with time, you will adapt. That's the only thing I can say, is you will adapt. It just will be hard, and you've just got to understand, why am I doing this?
Yeah, because there's a rationale behind everything that you're doing. And I think, just remember as well, as a female, if you want to build muscle, you are going to see the weight come up. You are going to see yourself gain a bit of body fat. If you really, really hate it that much, don't do it. Stay at maintenance. But then you have to accept the fact that you're not going to build muscle as effectively as you could. It's going to be a lot slower. And I have clients that don't want to push to that extreme. They're not competing, because I think realistically, if you've got that much of an issue with body image, I don't think competing is probably for you. But clients that, pardon?
It gets worse.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think if you've got any sort of issue around body image, I just think do not compete, because it just makes you so focused on body image. And like, I have a good relationship with food. I have a good relationship with myself. I still sometimes like catch myself having slightly negative thoughts, but I feel like I can deal with it. Like, I wouldn't do bodybuilding if it bothered me that much, gaining and losing weight. But I think if you really do not like it, just don't push to that extreme, because I have girls where they want to build a bit of muscle, you know, they're not competing, but I'll just keep them around maintenance.
Yeah.
You know, and they can,
yeah. It's just, the process is maybe a bit slower, and like, you've just got to find out what you're happy with. Like me and Leah says, like, we have a certain point that we won't step. Now, it should be the same as you guys. Like, if you have a certain point where you're not happy to kind of overstep to achieve that goal, then you definitely shouldn't. Like, you should live that you want to live, and you shouldn't let anyone else determine it. But you have to understand the repercussions of what you do and why you're doing it. So, for example, me and Leah know that we're not the most optimal. So will that hinder our most optimal progress that we could be making if everything was on point? Absolutely. But are we okay with that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You understand that, and if you're okay with that, cool, fucking hell, move on. No one actually cares about what you're doing apart from you. Like, have some twatty people who has maybe an hour discussion on your life, but then other than that, you're a distant memory. You've got to remember that. Like, no one actually really cares.
Yeah, as long as you do what makes you happy, I think that's the most important thing. And I think as a female, so I remember that building muscle is a much slower process than losing fat. Like, I always think, yeah, you know what, I've gained a bit of fat, it's okay, I built some muscle, it's fine, I'm healthy, I'm happy, I can always pull a bit of body fat off relatively easily, she says, with no successful makeup. But generally, relatively easily, you can pull a bit of body fat off. So I think it's just realizing and being okay with the fact that, you know what, if you want to build a bit of muscle, you're probably going to have to push body fat up a bit as a female. And also remember that females are not meant to be very, very lean. Like, to have a healthy cycle, to be healthy, like, females need a bit of body fat on them, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having a little bit of body fat on you either.
I remember losing my period like very soon into my prep. I wasn't even that lean. I was like, how the frick have I lost my period already? I was very lucky I got it back, and that's probably because the amount of shit I was eating. But like, I was genuinely shocked that I still had like chub on my stomach. I wasn't like picking, and it wasn't like when I was 5 weeks out and I had no skin on my stomach.
Yeah.
It was literally when I was like just a tad bit leaner.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. So
Yeah.
there are like health risks to like any kind of push up. Like obviously you push your food up, you know, like your resting heart rate is a little bit shitter, your body's working overdrive because you're a little bit heavier, you know, like your CV is probably a little bit worse, like overall you're eating a little bit more. So yes, that has like obviously health issues, but then so does dieting. So like it's just finding that balance, isn't it, really, with what you're happy with and what you're happy to kind of put your body through. It's like choosing to smoke and not choosing to smoke, that kind of way.
I think
If you're happy to smoke, you know the repercussions and smoke. If you don't and you don't want to do that, then you won't.
That's the biggest thing with anything, and this is something I said to my clients well all the time. Like, you have to be aware that the actions that you take on a daily basis lead to the outcome, and you have to be okay with that outcome. Because like, if I get a client and she's like, oh, I'm really I feel a bit disheartened, like I'm not making the progress that I want it to be making, and I'm like, well, let's look at your actions. Like, are you doing everything? Are you hitting your calories? Oh, actually no, I went out for a couple meals, I had a takeaway, had a few glasses of wine that weren't tracked into my calories. Okay, have you done all your cardio? Actually, I missed a cardio session this day. Have you hit your steps? Yeah, well, nearly, like 4 days out of 7 I did hit them. And I'm like, well, you can't complain about the result if you've got to be in alignment. So like, if you want to go out and eat more and, you know, maybe not track some of your food and you don't want to get all your sessions and stuff in, you have to accept the fact that the results are going to be in alignment with that. So, you know, it's fine doing that. And I always say, I'm never going to turn around to any of my clients and be like, you can't go out, you must track your meal on a Saturday night. You know, I can guide them and I'll give them advice as to what's going to be best for them and how they can navigate it. But I'm never going to say, you can't do this and you must do this as such, because it's their decision. But then they have to accept the fact that if they are going out and they're having things that aren't tracked and they aren't doing everything, then they have to be okay with the results and accept, well, yeah, okay, if I want these results, then I have to actually put the work in at the start. So it's just like, you have to act in alignment with what you actually want and be realistic with the outcome.
Yeah. And if something happens, then go, why has that happened?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because I had a meal out. Oh, that's because I missed the
Yes.
Like actually like, and this is why you are the way that you are as a coach, because you educate them on like, right, okay, like the reason why you're not doing it or you're not achieving the goal is because you're doing so and so.
Yeah.
With how your life is at the moment, sound, but if you do want to make that change and you do want to achieve this goal, there are certain sacrifices you do have to make and you have to come to terms with that, and that's just how it is. But that's life anyway.
Yeah.
Sacrifices with work, sacrifices with family, friendships, whatever. You're going to make sacrifices in life, and you've just got to say, right, am I happy with the decision? Cool, sound, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Bish bash bosh.
We are done. Wow, guys, thank you so much for listening. There was quite a few topics in there. I'll try to dig out which ones are the most important, because we spoke about quite a lot that I think is going to kind of help with like actual weight loss and weight gain. So it was relatively in topic, just not the specific topic we wanted to speak about. But obviously, if there are any other topics that you do want us to kind of like go into detail with, we'll try not to go on a tangent next podcast and actually focus on the topic. I feel like that's when the best information comes out, is when you just have like a natural discussion anyway. But yes, guys, yeah, exactly. So thank you for watching. Please tag us on your stories. We'd love to see who and when and what you're doing whilst you're listening or watching our podcast. Please like it on YouTube, and also give us a comment or give us a message on anything else you'd like to see. But thank you for watching episode 4, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.